Colonna Crime Corporation. The House of Colonna presently hold the hereditary position of prince assistants to the papal throne at the Vatican. They claim to be the Julio-Claudian dynasty of ancient Rome and directly descend from Peter de Colonna and the Counts of Tusculum. Cologne, Germany was named Colonia Claudia era Agrippinensium, named for the Julio-Claudian family. They also descend from the Counts of Tusculum, which took the name Ptolemy. The Julio-Claudian dynasty ruled Rome during the conquering of Ptolemaic Egypt, and the Julio-Claudian family also married in with the Ptolemaic dynasty. The Ptolemy family are an Italian nobility claiming ancestry from the Ptolemaic dynasty. They were established in the 12th century and they purchased the fiefdom of Patricia from the Colonna family. Count Claudio Ptolemy is a current member. The Colonna family use the column on their coat of arms, which is a symbol for political power. The Colonna name derives from the Greek word Colonna, which means a column. The Columbus and Colombo names also derive from Columna and Peter de Columna. The South American nation of Colombia is named after Columbus. Christopher Columbus was a relative of the Colonna family and he claimed America for Rome. Christopher Columbus was born in Genoa and he was partly financed by the Doria banking family, which have intermarried with the House of Colonna several times in the past, like with Prince Fabrizio Colonna and his wife Bianca Doria, the Duchess of Tursi, as well as Prince Andrea Doria III of Melfi and his wife Princess Giovanna Colonna di Paliano. The Colonna family ruled in Alba Longa and established a branch in Salamanca, Spain, as the Dukes of Alba, originally ruled by the Alvarez family, now the Dukes of Toledo. Salamanca uses the column on its flag, and the Dukes of Alba are intermarried with Christopher Columbus family with his son Diego Colon and Maria de Toledo. The Colonna family are primary owners of the Motise Maffia clan of Palermo and Sicily. The House of Colonna married in with the Ventimiglia princes of Palermo. Baron Niccolo Turrisi Colonna was a politician from Palermo who made early mentions of the Mafia before they were officially recognized. Niccolo also claimed that the government attempting to shut down the Mafia made the problem worse, as if he was defending them, to the point he was believed to be the head of the Mafia. The Collas are owners of the Colombo crime family and are part owners of a Jewish mafia which infiltrated Hollywood, creating Columbia Pictures through their New York mafia associates like Harry Cohn, who met with Mussolini and was friends with mafia associates like John Rosselli and Jack Intritter. Columbia Pictures is part of Sony Pictures Entertainment, which is run by the CEO Tony Vinciquerro from Albany, New York, the capital of the state of New York. Albany is basically named after Alban Hills in Rome, where the Collas established themselves. The Colonna family are the primary owners of the Chicago outfit, along with the Florentine House of Capone, headed up today by Count Neri Capone, Count Sebastiano Capone, and Count Niccolo Capone, and Florentine House of Rosselli del Turco, headed up by Marquis Niccolo Rosselli del Turco. The Colonna and Capone families likely made an alliance during the siege of Florence with Stefano Colonna di Palestrina as the Florentine militia commander. The House of Colonna held various titles in the former Papal States, as well as ruled as the Dukes of Cesaro, Sicily. The Collas are closely allied with the Massimo family and act as their support. The Massimos claim to own the land on earth, and the Collas represent political pillars that support their lawless claims. The Colonna family are the owners of the Knights of Columbus, which use the Roman fasces symbol on its logo. Many police and federal agents are members of the Knights of Columbus, and some of them are used to infiltrate law enforcement and provide assistance and intelligence for the Italian Mafia. The Colonna family have influence over both police and organized crime. The five families function as covert criminal business enterprises for the Italian nobility, and they use their mafias to blackmail, extort, and control politicians, bankers, and businessmen. In the 19th century, Princess Livia Colonna married into their ancient cousins again with Duke Fernando Alvarez de Toledo, and their son was Alvaro Alvarez de Toledo, who married Anna Maria Dupont. The Dupont family of France use the Colonna's column on their coat of arms. The DuPont family founded DuPont, an international chemical company which is located in Delaware and has about $46 billion in assets. The Colonna and Alvarez families have shares in DuPont, now called Dow DuPont, which is one of the largest chemical companies in the world. The Alvarez family that inherited the Colonna Palazzo sold it to the Italian government for 800 million lire, equal to $203 million. Prince Guido Colonna di Paliano was a commissioner of the European Union, Italian vice-consul to New York City and a member of the Trilateral Commission. Jerry Colonna is an extremely evil financier from New York City who helped to establish Silicon Valley, and today he coaches businessmen in the tech industry. Jerry Colonna, who is believed to be worth over $50 million, started a small investment group called Flatiron Partners, which was in the business of making billions for companies like J.P. Morgan Chase. Jerry Colonna oversees criminal transactions and money laundering for the Colombo crime syndicate and is authority over Silicon Valley, which runs electronic harassment systems on Americans. The Colonna family ceremonially rule over Capitoline Hill in Rome, which represents the political power of Rome's corporate empire. The column symbolizes the political support that maintains their fraudulent claim to corporate governmental ownership over a land. The Colonna family are a corporate mafia involved in infiltrating politics and businesses, financing organized crime, and supplanting cultures. Freemasonry uses two pillars or columns in their temples, which covertly symbolizes the two Colonna princely lines of Stigliano and Paliano. Prince Prospero Colonna di Stigliano is covertly controlling the Grand Lodge of Ireland. Some of the Colonna di Stigliano family members have recently established residences in Ireland. The Collas manage the Dolan family. Cardinal Timothy Dolan is the Archbishop of New York. Charles Dolan is a Jesuit-educated billionaire and part owner of Cablevision along with his son James Dolan. St. Alban was really from Alban Hills and set up Alban Colonna clans in England early on. The name Romney means Roman. The Earls of Romney in the UK are agents of Rome, as well as the Romney political family in the US, with Mitt Romney, who co-founded Bain Capital, which manages about $75 billion in assets. Mitt Romney was also CEO of Bain & Company. Prince Filippo Colonna di Paliano has worked for Bain & Company, which is stated in his work history on LinkedIn. The House of Colonna established a Polish branch called the Colonna-Walski family. The Polish Mafia in the United States have been allied with the Chicago outfit, starting out early on with Polish mobsters like Jaime Weiss allied with Bugs Moran and Jake Guzik allied with Al Capone. The Collas have made at least tens of billions from their mafias and drug cartels over the decades. The House of Colonna are an imperial bloodline. Washington, D.C. is designed with Roman architecture and has the Roman fasces symbol all over United States federal buildings and federal seals. The Knights of Columbus use the fasces symbol. The fasces symbol is also on the flag of the city of Norte de Santander in Colombia. Fascism means a centralization of power. Capitol Hill in D.C. is named after Capitoline Hill in Rome. Washington, D.C. was called Rome in 1669, and this is stated in the Catholic Encyclopedia. Most of the architecture in the District of Columbia is Roman architecture. America is named after the Italian explorer Amerigo Vespucci, who created the term New World for the Americas. The Collas and other black nobility claim a portion of ownership over the United States. Stefano Colonna is an Italian chemist who created the Julia Colonna epoxidation process used by pharmaceutical companies like Bayer. Stefano Pessina is an agent of the House of Colonna and worth about $13 billion as the primary shareholder of Walgreens Boots Alliance, headquartered in Chicago, which owns pharmaceutical manufacturing companies. The House of Colonna were one of the families behind the Vatican Inquisition. Their ancestors, the Counts of Tusculum, produced at least 6 popes, and they directly produced Pope Martin V. Today Prince Stefano Colonna di Stigliano is highly trained in alchemy and involved in chemically torturing people. Members of the Colonna crime family include Prince Prospero Colonna di Stigliano, Prince Stefano Colonna di Stigliano, Princess Lucrezia Colonna di Stigliano, Princess Vittoria Colonna di Stigliano, Prince Adon Colonna, Prince Prospero Colonna di Paliano, Prince Filippo Colonna di Paliano, Prince Marcantonio Colonna di Paliano, Princess Laurentia Colonna di Paliano, Prince Piero Colonna di Paliano, Prince Urbano Rius Forza Barberini Colonna di Ciara, Princess Frances Colonna di Stigliano, Princess Catherine Colonna di Stigliano, unofficially Jerry Colonna the financier, and Stefano Colonna from the University of Milan. The House of Colonna are large shareholders over the Holy See Corporation and are one of the most powerful and corrupt imperial families on the planet. Prince Prospero Colonna di Stigliano and Prince Marcantonio Colonna di Paliano are the current heads of this wicked clan. The Collas are a disease of evil. Prince Stefano Colonna is a sadistic alchemical tormentor. Prince Stefano is one of the most wicked members of the black nobility. He is murderous, torturous, and extremely sadistic. Prince Stefano Colonna is the epitome of evil. Prince Prospero Colonna di Paliano is a prince assistant to the papal throne and manages the Vatican's pedophile cult. Prince Prospero is a pedophile and illusionist. There are two Prince Prospero Collas with one in Rome and one in Ireland. Prince Adon Colonna is an alchemical tormentor and satanic ritual programmer that specializes in depraved sexuality including incest, bestiality, pedophilia, and sexual cannibalism. Prince Adon is a hidden head of the Oddfellow order. In the 13th row down Prince Prospero Colonna di Stigliano and his two wicked daughters Lucrezia and Vittoria, and they reside in Ireland. Princess Vittoria works for MTV, which is known for its connections with Freemasonry and purchasing a Masonic lodge in Canada as its headquarters. Princess Vittoria is pure evil and is the whore of Rome, which is modern-day Babylon. One of her ruthless minions is a woman named Victoria Garland, and her mother Sharon Garland works under the Massimos and Boncampagonis. Prince Prospero Colonna di Stigliano is the hidden head of the Grand Lodge of Ireland and oversees the Irish Catholic priesthood bloodlines, and Cardinal Timothy Dolan, who is one of the highest authorities in the United States as Archbishop of New York. Timothy Dolan drinks the blood of murdered children and runs a psychotic cult of cannibals in the United States. Dolan, Irish, O'Duiblin, is a surname of Irish origin. Vittoria Colonna / Painted Films is a writer, director and overall seeker. Growing up between Ireland and Italy, Vittoria was influenced to study fine art painting in Rome's L'Accademia di Belle Arti. Having trained as an opera singer in Tuscany, she then continued in the performing arts, finishing her studies at the Gaiety School of Acting in Dublin 2004. Princess Vittoria Colonna di Stigliano is extremely evil. She cannibalizes children and runs a cult of ruthless terroristic women. A woman named Victoria Garland works under her, and she is relentless and sadistic. Her father Prince Prospero Colonna di Stigliano is probably the highest authorities in Ireland and oversees the Roman Catholic Church in Ireland, the Grand Lodge of Ireland, and factions of the Irish Maffia. The Collas also covertly work with the Guinness banking family of Ireland, which are married with the Rothschilds. The Irish government is in contract with the United States Federal Corporation through the 1871 District of Columbia Organic Act. The Guinness family have been laundering stolen wealth from the United States by the Irish government into offshore accounts for the Colonna family. Cardinal Timothy Dolan with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. The Archbishop of New York meets with the two presidential candidates every election and has a portion of say over which pre-selected candidate will become president in the fixed election. Hillary Clinton is an agent of the Collas through the Chicago outfit. Donald Trump's former wife Ivana Trump met with Prince Marcantonio Colonna in Italy in 1990 while Donald and Ivana were still married. Cardinal Timothy Dolan is working with the House of Colonna and is a top overseer of religion, politics, business, and organized crime. Cardinal Timothy Dolan is one of the highest authorities in the United States. Cardinal Timothy Dolan is completely insane. He is constantly intoxicated on human blood and adrenochrome trafficked through wine bottles. He is a violent rapist and pedophile that cannibalizes children and drinks their blood. He is a monster. Charles Dolan and family. Real-time net worth $5.5 billion. Cable pioneer Charles Dolan owns controlling stakes in AMC Networks and Madison Square Garden. Dolan sold Cablevision, the cable giant he launched in 1973 with 1,500 customers, to billionaire Patrick Dreysaltis for $17.7 billion in 2016. After dropping out of John Carroll University, the Cleveland native got his start creating sports newsreels for TV stations from his home residence Oyster Bay, New York. John Carroll is a private, coeducational, Jesuit Catholic university. According to Bloomberg Businessweek, John Carroll is #1 in the nation in preparing students for employment. Princess Catherine Colonna is a high-level Latin witch and child-murdering cannibal. Prince Filippo Colonna di Paliano is the son of Prince Prospero Colonna di Paliano, the prince assistant to the papal throne. Prince assistants to the papal throne oversee the pope for the black nobility. Prince Filippo works for Bain & Company, which is a global management consultant firm based in Boston, Massachusetts. Bain & Company's executives created Bain Capital, which is a lawless investment firm that finances gang stalking and organized crime. Prince Urbano Rios Forza Barberini Colonna di Ciara is an Italian comedian and top authority over the Freemasonic Royal Order of Jesters. The actor and comedian Jim Carrey takes orders from him. Prince Urbano is a cannibalistic pedophile and is ruthlessly evil. Prince Marcantonio Colonna with Ivana Trump. Prince Marcantonio is a top member and authority over the House of Colonna. Rome in 1990. Vincent Martello is a criminal associate of Cosa Nostra and works in the automotive sales industry and is also involved in criminal trafficking through the cars he sells. Vincent Martello is a child molester, child murderer, and cannibal who traffics children in the vehicles he sells. He makes constant threats and thinks he is a mafia boss. His wife Christine Gomez Martello is also a child-murdering cannibal and she works in New York with A&E Networks. Vincent operates in New York City, Long Island, and the Greenwich area, where many wealthy families involved in Manhattan and New York Stock Exchange reside. Prince Stefano Colonna is one of Vincent's primary overseers. Vincent Martello is extremely evil and his mother is a hate-filled sadistic child-murdering witch named Elizabeth Martello, and his father is a cowardly, effeminate, and greedy associate of Cosa Nostra named Richard Martello. Elizabeth Martello is a psychopath and hate-filled raving lunatic that was involved in the murders of several of her family members. Elizabeth's friend named Susan is also extremely evil and sadistic. All they want to do is destroy people and get off to it. They are soulless cannibalistic parasites that spread evil like a plague. They are ruthless and murderous sadists. Elizabeth Martello works under Princess Elisabetta de' Medici. The Martello family are one of the most ruthless and evil families in the United States. They have offshore bank accounts and are concealing at least millions. This family has sent me countless death threats and is financing through cash gang stalkers to target me relentlessly. The National Capitol Columns is a monument in Washington, D.C.'s National Arboretum. It is an arrangement of 22 Corinthian columns which were a part of the United States Capitol from 1828 to 1958, placed amid 20 acres, 8.1 hectares, of open meadow, known as the Ellipse Meadow. 1. The Lincoln Memorial is an American national monument built to honor the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. The exterior of the memorial echoes a classic Greek temple and features Yule marble from Colorado. The structure measures 189.7 by 118.5 feet, 57.8 by 36.1 meters, and is 99 feet, 30 meters, tall. It is surrounded by a peristyle of 36 fluted Doric columns, one for each of the 36 states in the Union at the time of Lincoln's death, and 2 columns and antis at the entrance behind the colonnade. Colonna coat of arms. DuPont coat of arms with the pillar. Anna Maria DuPont. Married October 31, 1935, Thursday, to Alvaro Alvarez de Toledo. Duke of Alba de Tormes, Spanish, Duque de Alba de Tormes, commonly known as Duke of Alba, is a title of Spanish nobility that is accompanied by the dignity of Grandee of Spain. In 1472, the title of Count of Alba de Tormes, inherited by Garcia Alvarez de Toledo. Various dukes have married into the families of Christopher Columbus. Alba de Tormes is a municipality in the province of Salamanca. Coat of arms of Salamanca with the pillars. Anna Doria Colonna. Daughter of Andrea Doria, 3 Principe di Melfi and Giovanna Colonna di Pagliano. Prospero Colonna Doria, Colonna. Son of Giovanni Andrea Colonna Doria, 13 Principe di Pagliano and Donna Isabella Alvarez de Toledo y Silva. In the book The Life of Christopher Columbus by Francesco Tarducci describes on page 346 Francesco Doria financing Christopher Columbus. The name Christopher Columbus is the anglicization of the Latin Christophorus Columbus. His name in Ligurian is Cristoforo Colombo, in Italian Cristoforo Colombo and in Spanish Cristobal Colon. 4. Maria de Toledo or Maria Alvarez de Toledo. She was married to Diego Columbus, the son of Christopher Columbus. A column or pillar in architecture and structural engineering is a structural element that transmits, through compression, the weight of the structure above to other structural elements below. The Palazzo Massimo al Colonna is a Renaissance palace in Rome, Italy. The palace was designed by Baldassare Peruzzi in 1532–1536 on a site of 3 contiguous palaces owned by the old Roman Massimo family and built after arson destroyed the earlier structures during the sack of Rome, 1527. In addition, the curved facade was dictated by foundations built upon the stands for the Stadium, Odeon, of the Emperor Domitian. It fronts the now busy Corso Vittorio Emanuele II, a few hundred yards from the front of the Church of Sant'Andrea della Valle. Defense attorney Jeremy Schneider acknowledges that his client, Chris Colombo, is guilty of gambling, but the attorney insists Colombo did not run an underworld organization that extorted money from its victims, according to a story by Katie Cornell of the New York Post. The Colombo crime family, pronounced Colombo, is the youngest of the 5 families that dominates organized crime activities in New York City, United States, within the nationwide criminal organization known as the Maffia, or Cosa Nostra. Niccolo Turrisi Colonna, for example, a landowner and politician whose 1864 study, Public Security in Sicily, warned that the Italian government's brutal attempts to crush unlawfulness would only make matters worse by alienating the populace, is widely thought to have been a close associate of the aforementioned Giammona. He is also thought by some to have been the head of the Maffia. Niccolo Turrisi Colonna, Baron of Gorgo and Bonvicino, was born in Palermo on October 8, 1817. He was the head of the National Guard in Palermo, and it is on this occasion that he consolidated his relationship with Antonino Giammona, already known during the revolts of 1848, so much so that he officially appointed the Guard. Since then, Giammona was considered one of the leaders of the Maffia. As a producer, many people in the business considered Cohn to be the meanest, most vindictive and hard-nosed man in Hollywood, with a sadistic power fixation. What is certain, is that after Cohn turned Sinatra down for the part, that Sinatra called Frank Intrada, to fronted at the Sands Casino for the powerful New York Mafia Don, Frank Costello and his partners, labor goon Joe Adonis and Chicago's Paul Rico Antonio Cardo. Intrada was a close, personal friend of Harry Cohn. They were regular fishing partners on weekends, but even the phone calls from Intrada didn't budge Cohn to hand the part to Sinatra. Then, according to Johnny Rosselli, Intrada went directly to Frank Costello on Sinatra's behalf, and, working with Chicago's permission, Costello contacted Johnny Rosselli out in Las Vegas and asked him to look into this Cohn problem. Johnny Rosselli knew Cohn. They had first met back in the early 1930s right after both arrived in Hollywood, and Rosselli was still running numbers, and selling the occasional shipment of heroin around the studio lots. Cohn took an immediate liking to Rosselli, which was easy to do. Rosselli was chosen for the job by the bosses because he was likable. Cohn not only refused, he told Rosselli, "John, if we have a problem here, I'm going to have to make some phone calls," referring to Cohn's own considerable contact in the underworld. But Rosselli had the backing of the entire national syndicate behind him and knew that Cohn was defenseless. "Harry," he said, "if we have a problem here, you're a fucking dead man." In the end, Sinatra got the part and the Academy Award to boot. Chris Colombo is a top boss of the Colombo crime syndicate and is involved in sex trafficking, underage prostitution, gambling rackets, construction rackets, murder, extortion, and large-scale cocaine distribution. Columbia Pictures Industries Incorporated, commonly known as Columbia Pictures or Columbia, formerly known as CBC Film Sales Corporation and Columbia Pictures Corporation, is an American film studio, production company and film distributor that is a member of the Sony Pictures Motion Picture Group. 1. Founders: Harry Cohn, Jack Cohn, Joe Brandt. Anthony Tony Vincicra, born August 30, 1954, is a film executive who is the current chairman and CEO of Sony Pictures. 2. Vincicra was born in Albany, New York. Colonna family, noble Roman family of great antiquity and importance, descended from the 10th century Counts of Tusculum. The first to take the name Colonna, de Colonna, was Piero, the son of Gregorio, Count of Tusculum, who on Gregorio's death, circa 1064, received the castle of Colonna in the Alban Hills. Jerry Colonna. In 2002, Colonna became a partner with J.P. Morgan Partners, JPMP, the private equity arm of J.P. Morgan Chase, where he led the firm's investments in companies such as ProfitLogic Incorporated. Colonna served as a director at ProfitLogic until its purchase by Oracle Incorporated. Statement by Ambassador Guido Colonna di Paliano, former member of the Commission of the European Communities, to the Presidential Advisory Commission on International Trade and Investment Policy. New York, September 10, 1970. Novel conditions for the Julia Colonna epoxidation reaction providing efficient access to chiral, non-racemic epoxides. Author Geller T., Bayer Kropschi. Ag, Mannheim, De Gerlicke, Bayer Chemicals AG, Leverkusen, DEU. Stefano Pessina. Real-time net worth $13.5 billion. Stefano Pessina heads the world's largest drugstore chain, Walgreens Boots Alliance. His journey began in 1977 when Pessina took over his family's pharmaceutical wholesaler in Naples, Italy. Residence Monte Carlo, Monaco,